Thanks for joining us tonight on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Wednesday, November 20th. Tonight we're taking a look at a home explosion in South Jordan from earlier this month. Today, the NTSB released their preliminary report on the blast. We'll also go in depth on a lawsuit filed by Gabby Petito's family against the Moab Police Department. Some new developments today. So nearly 2 weeks after that explosion, you see here the drone footage of it, the aftermath of when fire crews are trying to get to the bottom of all of this. Federal investigators say 250-foot gas leak was found on a damaged pipeline. That leak was just about 150 feet away from the home that exploded. Kristen McPeak has been digging into the report, working to find out more.
Hi, my name is Kristen McPeak with KUTV. Multiple calls and emails went to the city, state, and federal agencies involved in the investigation of the natural gas-fueled home explosion. A report released after the explosion on November 6th, Enbridge found a gas leak about 150 feet northeast of the destroyed South Jordan home. The gas line was manufactured and installed in 1976. I reached out to Enbridge with the following questions. What is your response to these findings? What is next in the process? What are you doing to ensure safety in the future? They declined my interview but responded with a statement, reading in part, while federal regulations prohibit us from commenting on investigation, we remain committed to continuing to contribute to the investigation. I reached out to the city of South Jordan, the state fire marshal, and the state division of public utility. A lot of them referred me to talk to the NTSB. And then the NTSB told me that because these reports are preliminary, they can't comment. And the final findings will happen in about 12 to 24 months. For now, a grieving community, as 15-year-old Logan Hansen is remembered by the color blue that is seen all throughout the neighborhood.
When this explosion happened earlier this month, we heard from the family spokesman with our Brian Malahy on the loss and devastating impacts.
Like any loss of life, it's extremely hard, extremely difficult. A lot of unanswered questions, a lot of questions surfacing. But the family is more worried about the loss of everything. And with unanswered questions, eventually they'll be answered. But what we truly need.
And when you say the family is concerned about the loss of everything, what are they most concerned about?
It's one thing to lose someone, but then lose everything that was them too. You got to think that what was in that house was part of their family and everything, and just a life. It's their whole livelihood. They have nothing now. They have absolutely nothing.
How many people were living in the house?
There were 6 people living in the house.
And the boy was the only one home?
There was actually 5 people living in the house.
5 people live in the house, okay.
As of now, yeah.
He was the only one there?
Yeah.
And do you know why he was there?
No.
Were other people normally there at that time of day?
Of course, it was right after school, just like any normal day.
Where was everybody else?
At this time, everyone was just either getting home from school, getting off of work.
Yeah. So, family doesn't want to reveal the name of the boy who perished. What can you tell us, though, about him?
As being a high school student, just like any high schooler, had friends, had a community of friends, had a lot of people that loved him and cared for him, and like he still had his whole still had his whole still figuring out life. he enjoyed playing video games like any high schooler, and he was good at it. Intelligent when it came to a lot of things, and just a loved brother and son, nephew and grandson by many.
You mentioned video games. Did he have any other interests?
Driving, cars. He loved Roxbury smoothies.
Okay.
The family asked why you see all the blue up. Blue was the color that he loved, and it's one thing that the family has asked to support him is put up blue lights or blue ribbon in honor of mourning.
Does the family have a sense as to why this happened?
At this time, no. The fire departments, many investigators, fire marshals, we've heard that they're flying people out of state to come and investigate. We know that the gas company has ramped up their efforts significantly. But at this time, we don't know. There are no questions answered, and eventually they will be answered, like I said, but the important thing is we support this family as a community. Give them what is needed back. They have no toiletries, they have nothing, no clothes, anything left. It's the answers will come eventually, but as of now, the support that this family needs is more than the answers.
Still ahead here on Arc Salt Lake, a ruling in the wrongful death lawsuit against the Moab Police Department from Gabby Petito's parents. We'll go in depth on the hearing today. Next. Going in depth on Gabby Petito tonight, hearing earlier today at Utah's 7th District Court regarding a motion to dismiss that wrongful death. For some context from the courtroom, here's 50 minutes of today's hearing broken down into just a few minutes, beginning with the attorney representing the Moab Police Department.
As plaintiff's complaint acknowledges, Gabby Petito was murdered by her abusive fiance and travel companion, Brian Laundrie. Plaintiff's opposition confirms that a murder occurred more than a month after the couple left Moab. Gabby's interaction with the Moab Police Department occurred August 12th, and she was killed 38 days later on September 19th. That crime occurred more than 400 miles away from Moab in Wyoming. The facts of the case are undoubtedly tragic, but not every tragedy supports a lawsuit. For purposes of today's hearing, I intend to focus on two of the reasons why this case should be dismissed. First, because it's barred by the Governmental Immunity Act, and second, for lack of legal causation. Starting with that first issue, there's really no dispute that the four corners of the GIAU require dismissal. In fact, until now, plaintiffs openly admitted to the court that it's required to bond. And plaintiffs were correct. The court is required to dismiss their claims. That's the current state of the law. As we cited in our motion, when addressing the GIAU, the Supreme Court has instructed that the court begins by asking whether the case involves a governmental function and then asks whether immunity is waived. That outcome's not disputed. Instead, plaintiffs have really responded by providing a preview of their appellate arguments. What they can't identify and haven't identified, a single case from the state of Utah, or even the territory of Utah, that allowed a plaintiff to assert claims against a municipality based on an allegedly improper police investigation absent statutory approval. We want this court to be the first to allow that claim. Facts of this case are tragic, but for purposes of this motion, they also are undisputed. Moab police separated Gabby and Brian. She had the keys in her van. She didn't drive off without Brian. Instead, they left Moab together, traveled for more than a month, ultimately making it to Wyoming. And then we have the causation theory that the plaintiffs have alleged and argued in their opposition. In their opposition, plaintiffs argue that Moab's, quote, involvement caused Gabby's parents, who spoke with Gabby at the scene and demanded she fly home to get away from Brian, to stand down on the belief that Moab and its officers would protect their daughter. That's a speculative theory that cannot support legal cause under the facts of this case.
Now here's counsel representing Gabby Petito's parents, Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt, who filed the lawsuit against Moab Police back in November 2022.
When Moab City police officers first encounter Brian and Gabby and begin investigating the domestic violence that had taken place, at a certain point, Gabby called her parents, and her parents were insistent that they wanted to fly her home. They wanted to pay to have somebody drive her to the airport, pay for a ticket, and bring her home. But Gabby assured them that the police were investigating this and would handle it, and Gabby's parents, plaintiffs in this matter, relied on their belief that Moab City was appropriately investigating and handling the situation. So there's a reliance here. And that reliance, though reasonable, was misplaced. As we set out in the complaint, the investigation was grossly negligent, and so much so, in fact, that it actually elevated the risk of harm to Gabby. We note that soon after encountering Brian and Gabby, Officer Robbins takes Gabby and puts her in the back of his police cruiser, which would communicate to her that she was in trouble. Soon after, Officer Robbins and Officer Pratt begin sympathizing with Brian. When Brian calls Gabby crazy, they all laugh. When Gabby was the predominant aggressor, he laughed. So with this sympathizing with Brian, it could be taken to actually embolden him. It could actually elevate the risk of harm to Gabby. And in addition, the fact of getting this investigation wrong was not necessarily lost on Officer Pratt, because as we quote him at length in the complaint, and it's pretty rare to have this candid of an admission in a case, he actually talks about the domestic assault code, and he says, quote, "It's there to protect people. The reason they don't give us discretion on these things is because too many times women who are at risk want to go back to their abuser. They just want him to stop, and they don't want to be separated. They don't want him charged. They don't want him to go to jail. And then they end up getting worse and worse treatment, and then they end up getting killed." He understood the risks. He foresaw the risks. We think factual development will show that he actually did appreciate those risks. And in addition, and this fact is very, very important, and it's in our complaint and in the briefing, after the investigation and after Gabby's murder on September 19th, the captain for the Price City Police Department, Brandon Ratcliffe, was tasked with an investigation of Moab City officers' conduct. He found multiple violations in their investigation, and this point is crucial. He concluded, after looking at their conduct, that he could not rule out that Gabby's murder might have been prevented if the officers had acted appropriately.
Finally, here's the ruling handed down by Judge Don Torgerson this morning.
The existing case law applies governmental immunity and extends the reach of governmental immunity in this kind of case to the Moab Police Department and Moab City. As municipalities, they are governmental entities performing a governmental function, and under the case law as it exists, I don't see how that they are possibly exempted. The only workaround would be to say that at the time of statehood, municipalities didn't have governmental immunity, nor did the state, potentially. But the case law in the 125 years since or more indicates that they do, and that's what I'm bound by. And so the municipality applies to extend that governmental immunity, and so based on that, the court is going to grant the defense's motion to dismiss. With respect to causation, I'm going to make a ruling here so that it can be reviewed on appeal if the Court of Appeals chooses to take this case up on that issue. I do think that plaintiffs have made a prima facie case that Moab's officers' conduct here could have been a cause of death, not necessarily the cause of death, but a cause of death. And based on the pleadings and making every inference in favor of plaintiffs, the court is going to deny the motion to dismiss on causation grounds, because that's a factually intense here. I think there are more facts to be developed before the court could rule.
The case was dismissed with prejudice, so if the appellate courts affirm that decision, the parents cannot file their lawsuit again. Meanwhile, the family, through their attorneys, will look towards the Utah Supreme Court for the next steps in this. You can read more KUTV.com right now. All right, quick, Sean, what's going on?
Well, it's cold out there, but it's quiet, and it's quiet for the next few days. But the weekend, we've got some changes here. So I warned you. I mean, Friday's the day to be out there golfing. It's still not too late for us to make a tee time, right? All right, yeah, we've got quiet conditions, but it is starting to get pretty cold out there. We've got cloudy skies moving in further out towards the west, and we've got this big storm out in the Midwest as well, the first snow of the season for many out in the Chicago area, and then a line of thunderstorms charging into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Eventually, we'll see the first snow of the season for many into portions in around Pennsylvania, up through portions of New England. As that slides out towards the east, all eyes will be on the system that will be impacting us here in the days ahead. Look at the scale of this. We've got the bomb cyclone up here, up towards the Pacific Northwest, over across the Pacific, and look at all this lightning here from Vancouver into Seattle, Portland area, all that mountain snow, that rain that we're seeing there across the west coast. Eventually this moisture gets sent in our direction, and we start to feel the influences of it as we get into Saturday evening. Continuing on to Sunday, mountain snow, valley rain continuing on. Some breaks here and there, but it looks like it'll be pretty active even into Thanksgiving week. So we'll have to watch out for that, and how much snow we could see up into the mountains could be several feet. including across the valley floors, can maybe see about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. So we've got the temperatures as we head into the overnight. Down into the 30s and 20s. It's going to be rather cold, not as cold as the past few evenings. We've got highs tomorrow into the upper 50s with plenty of sunshine down towards the south. St. George, you're dealing with temperatures here into the middle 60s over the course of the next few days. A little bit unsettled weather as we get into Sunday and Monday of next week. And then along the Wasatch Front, we're dealing with a nice warm up as we get into Friday. But there's that storm trying to work its way into Saturday. Colder air to follow with a mix of rain and snow in the forecast for much of next week.
All right, thank you, Sean. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, different kind of traffic in Utah County. A colt galloping down Highway 6 there in Spanish Fork. More of this video on the other side. That horse video we told you about, it's on our website, KUTV.com. How was your day?
Great. How was yours?
It was an excellent day. We're done, though. We'll see you tomorrow.